Good evening and welcome to the February 19th, 2019 regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Tom Lonergan to come up to the podium and everyone to please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Next item on our agenda is reflection. And as we go into a moment of silence, I wanted to commend the memory of a longtime resident and volunteer who passed away, Basil Waters, resident, volunteer, business owner in the city of Gaithersburg. Great contributor to the city, a former winner of our Distinguished Citizen Award. So we can all have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next, we have appointments. And tonight we have one appointment to the Historic District Commission. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move a resolution confirming your appointment to the Historic District Commission in the name of Iliad Terra, a 3-year term to expire in February 2022.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries 4-0. Is Iliad here this evening? Not seeing. Okay, well, we will thank Iliad when the time comes, and we will move on to presentations. And I would like to invite young Kavanaugh Bell to join me at the podium. That was brilliant that you bought that. How are you? Yeah. We're gonna get you up here. Yeah, come on, stand up. We're good. Last month during our mayor and council meeting, we had a surprise testimony from Kavanaugh Bell here, a 6-year-old who expressed a passion for giving back to others in the community, and about the issue, in particular, the issue of bullying. He decided to bring awareness to the issue of bullying after learning that one of his best friends contemplated suicide after she was bullied in October 2018. He requested us in this testimony that February 21st, 2019 be designated as Bullying Awareness Day in the city of Gaithersburg to honor the life of Gabriel Tay, an 8-year-old boy from Ohio who took his own life. And I have to say, on behalf of the city council members, we were all incredibly moved by the thoughtfulness, the articulateness, and the good idea that you had here. Sometimes it takes the youngest among us to sort of remind us of things that we might take for granted. And so we decided, yes, we're going to designate February 21st as Bullying Awareness Day. And I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to let young Kavanaugh say a few words. Welcome, Mike. Proclamation of the Mayor and City Council, whereas bullying is the physical, verbal, sexual, or emotional intimidation intentionally directed at a person or group of people, and it occurs in our neighborhoods, playgrounds, schools, and through social media platforms. And whereas researchers have concluded that bullying is the most common form of violence affecting millions of American children and adolescents annually. And whereas those who are targets of bullying have been shown to be more likely to acquire physical, emotional, and learning problems, often fearing such activities as riding the bus, going to school, and attending community activities. And whereas children who bully are at greater risk of engaging in more serious and violent behaviors as they grow older, while witnesses to bullying often feel less secure, more fearful, and intimidated. And whereas Gaithersburg is a character counts city that educates its youth about the 6 pillars of character: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship, and holds itself and its residents to a high ethical standard. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim February 21st, so a couple days from now, as Bullying Awareness Day in the city of Gaithersburg, and encourage all schools, students, parents, recreation programs, religious institutions, and community organizations to engage in a variety of awareness and prevention activities designed to make our community safer for all. Proclaim this 19th day of February 2019 and signed by me. And I'd like us all to give a great round of applause to Kavanaugh Bell. Good job.
10 years old is too young to die. Ashanti Davis in 7th Breeze Ward 10. I wish I could tell them they were smart and awesome friends, but I can't. 9 years old is too young to leave this earth. Jackson Grubb, Jamel Mouse, Madison Whitsick were 9. I wish I could give them a high five and tell them they were so brave, but I can't. 8 years old is too young to take your own life. Maya McCray was 8. I wish I could tell her parents that they would see her again, but I can't. 7 minutes is all it takes for bullying to steal a life. I wish I could stop time, but I can't. 6 years old is too young to take your last breath. Condrea Johnson was 6. I wish I could play with her, but I can't. 5 years old is how old my friend was when he was attacked in his classroom. I wish I could protect him, but I can't. 4 words that no parent should ever have to say is, no one helped us. I wish I could stop bullying, but I can't. 3 birthdays is how many Gerbotai has missed in the same number of years his mom had to look up to him in heaven. 2 things that we need more in this world are love and positivity. And with those, I know we can stop bullying. 1 action is all it takes to make a change. So I thank you, Mayor Ashman and the city of Gaithersburg, for standing here with me to take a very important first step. Bullying ends with us. Thank you.
Oh, don't forget this. Well, we have to follow that. So, thank you, Kavanaugh. And by the way, I'm up here. He's doing that without notes. That's pretty good. You memorized it. You did a great job. You did a great job. I'd like to invite the city council members to join me down here, and I'd like to invite former county executive Ike Leggett to join me here. Thank you so much. So, over the last few months, Ike Leggett has been honored numerous times for his distinguished service to Montgomery County. But I thought and I know the council members all join me in this, that Mr. Leggett deserves special recognition from the city of Gaithersburg. We in the city are grateful for Ike's 12 years of service as county executive and his service on the county council before that. We appreciate the strong partnership we developed over the years with Ike and his staff. And given Ike's, this is particularly relevant tonight as we're heading into a snowstorm, given Ike's recurring complaint about the cost of snow removal, he famously used to talk about every inch costing the county $1 million. I'd bet he particularly appreciated his partnership with the city of Gaithersburg on snow days. Mr. Leggett served our county through times of boom and not exactly bust, but close to it through the Great Recession. He had to adapt his politics and policies to the realities he was given. And frankly, I'm not sure that he gets enough credit for just how steadfast and graceful his leadership has been through all of that. The people of our county, as has been said many times, don't settle for second best in their leaders, and Ike Leggett was more than up to the task. And now the people of our state get to enjoy the privilege of Ike's service as he joins the Board of Regents for the University System of Maryland. We congratulate him on his appointment from the governor. So tonight, we add our grateful City of Gaithersburg voices to the rest of the county residents and bestow this proclamation on a man whom all of us very deeply admire. And that proclamation, as will be no surprise to Ike, is Ike Leggett Day in the city of Gaithersburg. Yeah, give him a round of applause. And the county, as Ike well knows, doesn't give out their proclamations mounted on wood plaques, so he finally gets one of these of his own. Proclamation from the Mayor and City Council designating February 19, 2019 as Ike Leggett Day in the city of Gaithersburg in honor and celebration of your distinguished service on the Montgomery County Council and as our county executive. We thank you for more than 30 years of visionary leadership. Your commitment to excellence and your thoughtful collaborations have greatly benefited the residents of our community. Congratulations and best wishes for your continued success and happiness. Proclaim this 19th day of February 2019 and signed by me. Ike, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's do our picture.
Just one for me. Maybe two.
Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you.
Please.
Well, I'm delighted to receive this proclamation from the greatest city in America. All right. It happens to be in the greatest state in America, in the greatest county in America, that happens to be in the greatest nation in the world. I am delighted to receive this because I know that the cooperation, the friendship, and the collaboration that we've had over the years served not only the city of Gaithersburg well, but clearly the citizens of Montgomery County. We could not do what we did in the county without your help and support. You said a moment ago that we're thinking about pending snow tomorrow. And as I was driving over here, I said to myself, this is a good time not to be county executive. But I'm sure that all the work that you've done to prepare the city and the surrounding areas for the snow, working with the men and women that you see around them, keep in mind that the first responders work extremely hard on almost every day. But during times of weather calamity, they work extremely hard, more than what you usually would think of. And so think about them tomorrow when we're out there trying to move around. They are helping us each and every day. I also want to acknowledge and thank the young man who made the presentation a moment ago. When you think about our future, I am delighted to know that we have people like this that will help us. Again, thank you so very much for this honor. I am delighted to receive it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we have the flag.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, because I forgot all about the swag. Okay. And I'd like to invite Chief Sroka up here to lead us in recognitions of our police officers.
Good evening. At a time when there's so much divisiveness in our nation and police officers are under more scrutiny than ever before, the actions of the officers that are being recognized here this evening highlight and illustrate the professionalism and excellence of policing in the city of Gaithersburg. Recognizing officers for exemplary performance is one of the most enjoyable things I do because of the hard work, personal sacrifices, and the commitment that it takes to achieve this recognition. Although the police department has 14 different formal awards, I believe the Officer of the Year, the Supervisor of the Year, and the Unit Citation Awards are the most prestigious because the award recipients must sustain outstanding performance over an entire year as opposed to many of our other awards that may be received for a single act. The award recipients each have in common a strong commitment to doing their very best and constantly striving to improve themselves and other department members. They have a total commitment to being the very best they can be, and they motivate the other people around them. And most importantly, they know that teamwork is the foundation for the success of the department. The first award that I'll be presenting this evening is the Officer of the Year. Each year, there's an alarming number of documented drunk driving fatalities across the country. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 30 people in the United States die each year in drunk driving crashes. That's one person every 48 minutes. These deaths have fallen by a third in the last 3 decades. However, drunk driving accidents claim more than 10,000 lives each year across the country. The statistic that drunk driving accidents have decreased by a third over the last 30 years is a positive indicator of the gains being made to fight drunk driving. Without a doubt, this gain is in part the result of hardworking officers with an excellent work ethic and dedication to doing police work. Officer Kyle Kuhn is one of those officers. Officer Kuhn has a strong work ethic, and his high quality and quantity of work was performed consistently, day in and day out, throughout the year, and clearly has significantly exceeded the expectations and requirements of a patrol officer. Officer Kuhn excelled in the area of DUI enforcement, averaging 6 DUI arrests every month in 2018, and he ended the year with 72 DUI arrests. Officer Kuhn's efforts in DUI enforcement have saved countless lives by taking dangerous drivers off our roads. Officer Kuhn is a well-rounded officer and can easily shift his focus from DUI enforcement to criminal enforcement. In 2018, Officer Kuhn made 35 criminal arrests. One notable arrest occurred in July of 2018 in regard to an assault call when he observed a suspect vehicle from the lookout description traveling on Christopher Avenue. The vehicle initially failed to stop and resulted in a foot pursuit. With the assistance of other officers, all 3 of the vehicle occupants were arrested. Located in that vehicle was a loaded handgun that was stolen in the state of Virginia. Further investigation revealed that 2 of the 3 suspects had outstanding arrest warrants. The handgun that was recovered was an exact match to the ballistics located from 2 shooting scenes in Montgomery Village. This helped to successfully close both of those shooting cases. In addition, Officer Kuhn handled 540 primary calls for service, and he wrote 161 field reports. Of particular importance is that Officer Kuhn had over 1,500 citizen contacts, which did not result in a single citizen's complaint, exemplifying his professional and courteous conduct during his interactions with citizens. For his outstanding commitment to duty, professionalism, and contributions to the citizens of the city of Gaithersburg and to the police department, I'm proud to bestow and distinguish Officer Kyle Kuhn as the 2018 Officer of the Year. Good job. The next award is the Supervisor of the Year. During 2018, Sergeant Delgado supervised the Street Crimes Unit while maintaining a professional and empathetic relationship with all officers. Sergeant Delgado demonstrated exceptional performance while leading the Street Crimes Unit and provided active supervision that inspired motivation, outstanding unit performance, and ensured constitutional policing. In 2018, Sergeant Delgado performed his supervisory and his administrative duties in an exemplary manner and demonstrated good communication skills during his interactions with staff throughout the department. In doing so, the Street Crimes Unit functioned as a cohesive unit and diligently worked in furtherance of the goals and mission of the department. It is inspiring and reassuring to be witness to an individual who realizes the importance of that which is required of him and unselfishly devotes the energy and time above that which is expected in order to maintain the professionalism and excellent reputation of the Gaithersburg Police Department. For your outstanding commitment to duty, professionalism, and contributions to the citizens of the city of Gaithersburg and to the police department, I'm proud to bestow and distinguish Sergeant Delgado as the Supervisor of the Year. Will, you want to come up? The unit citation is awarded to the Street Crimes Unit for their performance during 2018 that is deemed exceptional. During the year, the unit was nominated for Officer of the Month in 9 of the 12 months, and they were selected for the Officer of the Month in May, August, and October for their work. The unit was responsible for the following seizures in connection to criminal activity: $40,000 in U.S. currency, 3 vehicles seized, and 21 handgun possession charges. The unit made the following arrests separated out by offenses: 18 robberies, 4 aggravated assaults, 5 burglaries, 1 larceny, 3 vehicle thefts, 21 weapons offenses, 6 sex offenses, 64 drug arrests, and 34 other miscellaneous arrests for a combined total of 152 arrests for the 5 members that comprise our Street Crimes Unit. Additionally, the unit assisted with new officer field training, 14 pre-employment background investigations, and served as role players during situational de-escalation scenario trainings. The unit exemplifies teamwork and camaraderie as evidenced by their performance. For their commitment to serve the citizens by making Gaithersburg a safer community, and for your dedication to the police department, I'm proud to bestow and distinguish the Street Crimes Unit with the unit citation. Yeah. All right, now we'll recognize our 2 most recent promotees. A career as a police officer is more than a job. It is a calling to a life of sincerity, service, and sacrifice. To become a successful police officer, one must possess a true desire to help others, no matter what the cost. Nowhere is that desire more evident than within the ranks of the Gaithersburg Police Department. I want to thank the family and friends of Sergeant Lester Rice and Corporal Brandon Day that are here tonight for your support that has enabled them to advance in their careers. They did not get here alone, as you are the ones that have been there for them in the good times as well as the bad. You have shown patience and understanding when they miss family events as a result of having to work. They will need your continued support now that they have each attained positions of greater responsibility. Promotional competitiveness is contingent upon job knowledge, education, training, experience, and performance. Each of the officers in the department desiring a promotion to the rank of corporal or sergeant participated in a 5-month competitive promotional process that consisted of a written exam, a structured resume outlining their work history, education, training, and if applicable, military experience, along with an oral interview consisting of 5 operational scenario-based questions. The resumes and oral interviews were scored by a panel of outside assessors from Allied Maryland municipal police agencies to ensure objectivity and impartiality. This resulted in a rank-ordered eligibility list. These officers excelled through the comprehensive promotional process. I commend the newly promoted officers for their commitment to ensuring public safety, and I am confident that they will fully embrace their new leadership positions by influencing and motivating those supervised relative to the quantity and quality of their work. An achievement such as theirs comes with more than studying the criminal laws, motor vehicle laws, department general orders, and city ordinances. Their tenure, job experience, and more importantly, motivation and support from home has put them in a better position to make more of an impact in the police department and this community. Congratulations on your promotions. As you move higher up in rank, you must work longer and harder, as you are not only responsible for yourselves, but also to the men and women that you have been entrusted to lead. I wish each of you and your families the very best in life. I will now call the names of the 2 officers getting promoted and the name of the family member pinned in the badge. When I call your name, please come forward. First, we'll start with Corporal Brandon Day, and pinned in his badge is his wife, Michelle Kirk. Next is Sergeant Lester Rice, and pinned on his badge is his son, Elon. Elon, do you want to come up? Good job. We're having a reception back at the station immediately following this. Everybody here is certainly welcome to attend. Thank you.
Congratulations to all of our officers. They're leaving, so I want to make sure they hear it from us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna give this a minute, let it clear out a little bit.
Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Next agenda item is public comments. This is the time when the mayor and council like to hear from anybody who'd like to speak on any topic. We ask that you keep your comments no more than 3 minutes. State your name and address or neighborhood for the record. When your time's down to 30 seconds, timer will beep and turn yellow. When your time's up, it'll beep and turn red. Do we have any speakers this evening? Come on up. Thank you.
Demo Chrysos, Shafaley Square Road, Gaithersburg. I was here 2 months ago to talk to you guys about the beaver problem in Kentlands, and it has gotten worse. I'm sure this is not the first time the city has dealt with beavers in a neighborhood.
It's not.
Well, that's good to know. Beaver trapping in Maryland ends March 15th, so we only have a few weeks to get this guy out of this little group out of the way. They have jumped into the big lake in Kenlands, and they're really attacking some huge trees. I think that the problem that I have is that there was kind of this lack of monitoring the situation through for the last 60 days. I don't know what's happened. They've taken down, like I said, a bunch of different, large trees, and now, again, they're in the big lake. I just want to know a couple things. Maybe you can help me out. I want to know that I've heard that there's a location that has been accepted to move these beavers into a location at Seneca State Park. Is that true? Can anybody answer that?
Well, go through your whole statement, and then we'll get to your questions.
Okay, so I just want to understand this, because what I don't want to see is I don't want to get to that point where they're supposed to be gone, and we're finding out we have no place for them, and we're now starting that process. Because what happens when you delay the situation is more trees go down. And I have a problem with that. I don't want to hear they add to the oxygen in the water and all this other stuff. This is not the neighborhood that I had thought I was moving into 25 years ago, that this was some sort of natural game preserve kind of thing, that they were protected, and we had to walk around on eggshells to get rid of beaver. And I know that we have laws that have changed. I know we can't take care of them differently. But I just think that the city is just being incredibly slow about moving them out. And they're just kind of waiting as long as they possibly can for whatever reasons. And in the meantime, the trees are going down. This is a city. I'm looking at the logo, and there's a tree in the middle of that logo. And that's what I thought this city was about. But it looks a lot like the trees that are going down in Kentlands now. So what I'm trying to say is that you got the information. You first heard of the information about the beaver problem in October. Didn't have meetings until November, didn't begin wrapping the trees until December. There is no excuse to let your city manager run this problem that way. You guys have oversight over him and the way this process has gone. I'm asking you, as a resident and somebody who cares about the community that I live in, to please provide that oversight.
Thank you, Dimo.
And look at this problem and never repeat this again, because it surprises me that you say...
Your 3 minutes are up.
It surprises me you say you've handled beaver problems, because you did. You don't.
Thank you, Dimo.
I would like to hear how you handle it.
Appreciate it. Tony, do you have you want to speak to this tonight, or you want to get back to Dimo in writing, or?
I suppose I already can speak about it from my own report, so I can give you that part. My response is similar to what I said 2 months ago. Unless we're comfortable with facilitating the death of these animals, they cannot be relocated, according to DNR, until late March, early April. There is no March 15th deadline. A nuisance wildlife trapper can remove a beaver at any time of year. So our plan is still to relocate the beavers late March, early April. We do understand that there are now at least 3, possibly 4, and that they're now in Inspiration Lake. But unless the plan has changed, my response is consistent with what it was a couple months ago.
And are we still having our DPW crews try to wrap trees and go out once a week or whatever it was you said they were doing to just
clear
observe?
The culverts?
Yeah.
They were out again today. I talked to Animal Control today.
Okay.
First time.
Thank you, Dimo. Please.
Our crews have been out a number of times. We have gotten reports very recently about the spread to Inspiration Lake. So whether we'll be wrapping trees there pretty soon, I'll discuss with PW after the snow event. But again, if we're not comfortable with facilitating the death of these animals, then they're going to be there for another 6 weeks or so.
Do we know how many there are?
We believe 3, but possibly 4.
Okay.
They would not be kits at this point, baby beavers. They tend to have young in mid to late May. So we would like to get them relocated as soon as we can. late March, early April being what DNR is saying is the ideal time. As far as I know, there's been no location identified yet.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, do we have a sense from DNR or our own animal control folks, in terms of rate of impact, another 4 or 6 weeks, how much more impact is that going to have? How many more trees could they theoretically work on?
Well, we actually, DPW or PW has not, is not going to remove any trees that have fallen around Inspiration to give the beavers something to work on for as long as possible. We have had some mild activity or mild weather in the last few weeks, so they've been more active than we would normally expect them to be in February. So it has.
Oh, go ahead.
Good. No, it's fine.
Well, I was going to ask if there will be any efforts to replace any of the trees that have fallen. Are we planning on replanting or working with the community to replace?
We can. Most of the trees are on our property, not all of them,
Okay.
but most of them. And a lot of them were not specimen trees, so probably not, but we're certainly open to that.
Do we know where else they're ranging besides the 2 lakes where they've already caused the damage? Are they traveling between other locations in the city?
It's really hard to
close by?
say. I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all. So it's hard to tell where they are.
Okay.
I mean, there are a number of colonies in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And it is their nature to migrate a little bit. So it's really hard to say. This time of year, we expected them to be a little bit more dormant.
Right.
Okay, do we have any other public comments this evening? Going once, going twice? Okay, we're going to go on from the mayor and council and start with council member Spiegel.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me just start by adding my best wishes and salute to the incredible spirit of service and commitment to the community that have been displayed by all of the folks that have been recognized earlier at this meeting, including Kavanaugh and Mr. Leggett, and all of our police officers who were honored this evening. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you for all that you've done. I did want to note for anyone who hadn't already heard yet that Montgomery County Public Schools has announced they're closed tomorrow already. So feel free to make your plans accordingly if you have school-age children or if that's going to impact you. Earlier today, many of us attended the annual luncheon in Annapolis for the Montgomery County chapter of the Maryland Municipal League. This was the first year that we had the luncheon in conjunction with the Prince George's County Municipal Association. We did it together, and I thought it really went very, very well. Had a very good impact to have the municipal officials, the mayors and council members from throughout Prince George's and Montgomery counties together, advocating to state delegates and state senators our priorities for this year. I'm sure Lorianne, as vice president of the chapter, can talk a little more about that, but I just wanted to offer my congratulations to everybody who was involved in organizing that, including several of the staff from right here in Gaithersburg who are also involved, Monica Marquina, Michelle Potter, and others, because I thought it was a very effective event, and I hope we'll continue to have the annual luncheon together, hosted jointly with the Prince George's County Municipal Association. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go on to Councilmember Aris.
All right, thank you. Before I give any of my own remarks, I'll read an announcement about the upcoming planning, retreat, and visioning exercise. Notice to the general public is given that in lieu of a review of the strategic directions at their annual planning retreat, the mayor and city council will participate in an all-day visioning exercise this Saturday, February 23rd at 8:30 a.m. till 5 p.m. at the Benjamin Gaither Center, 80A Bureau Drive, Gaithersburg, Maryland. The exercise will look at the future demographic and economic factors. With the help of the facilitator, the elected officials will explore the findings and determine if existing policies allow the city to achieve their goals or if changes are necessary. The session will not be televised. The retreat is open to the public, but public comment will not be taken during the session. For more information, including the agenda, visit the city's website or contact the city's manager's office at 301-258-6310. And we'll be working through a report from an outside consulting firm that was made available to us last week, and I've posted links to that report on Facebook and nextdoor.com in case anyone's interested. But there's a lot of really interesting data, and as is usual, there's some things that you expected to see and some things that were a very big surprise that would, I think, influence our discussion as we go forward. Over the last couple of weeks, it's been a busy time. Several economic development events, including the monthly Economic Development Committee, which was held at 704 Quince Orchard instead of our usual City Hall meeting because there's a new building there. It was actually a very old building that's been completely gutted and refurbished as small lab space, kind of an incubation facility for nurturing new biotech companies in partnership with several real estate firms. So it was great to see that and great to have the meeting offsite and get to see what's happening in actual economic development in our city. Also had a meeting over with the dean at Dean Edelstein over at the Universities of Shady Grove, and we had a good discussion about the new building that's going up that I guess is the equivalent in size of all the other buildings combined, and it will be housing STEM facilities. I thought it was lab focused, but it's also computer and other STEM oriented topics, so it's great to have that, not quite in the city, but very close by. On the natural side, went on a hike with the Muddy Branch Alliance of the Muddy Branch Creek and some of the trails, looking at some of the connections that they'd like to put in. And as a rare visit, we had Sidney Katz out hiking the trail, which I don't think, according to Sally, has never happened in recorded history before. So that was really interesting, and I know that the Transportation Committee and members of that of the Muddy Branch Alliance are actually meeting right now while we're here to discuss ways to connect biking and hiking trails and improve the facilities here in the city. And on transportation, we had a presentation at the Suburban Maryland Transportation Alliance from the state talking about the governor's traffic relief plan. Interestingly, it was held about a week before they actually released the results of the latest findings, which reduced the number of choices from 15 down to about 7. But it was a good discussion, and we understand the process a little bit better. Also attended a presentation with our mayor and the mayors of Rockville and Frederick of an innovative transportation plan involving monorail that could potentially be funded by private enterprise, but it's too soon to really go into detail at this point. And finally, back to economic development, was pleased to present the plaque and cut the ribbon for a new business in the city called Team Logic IT, local IT services and managed services company. So busy times as usual in Gaithersburg. That's it for now. Thanks.
Thank you, Neil. Lorianne.
Thank you, Mayor. So it has been a busy week, as my colleague mentioned. I attended quite a few events. I'm sure our Economic Development Director will talk more about this, about the Opportunity Zone workshop and tour, or I will highlight it, that our Economic Development Director led, along with the county's Economic Development Corporation and the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond. We had a tour of some up-county communities, including our own Opportunity Zone along the 355 corridor leading into the Lake Forest Mall. We also visited Rockville's Twin Brook community, Montgomery Village. Both town centers are going to be under development in the coming months. And lastly, Montgomery College, Germantown's campus, is undergoing some innovative changes as well. So lots of opportunities in the up-county region. The Asbury Methodist Village hosted a discussion with Dan Adcock, Government Relations and Policy Director of the Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare. He discussed Social Security and Medicare present and the future, and what our residents need to be aware of as we track changes at the federal level. the Maryland Legislative Agenda for Women, a coalition of women's groups and individuals committed to advocating for nonpartisan legislation and policies to promote and protect the well-being of Maryland women and their families, to provide them with opportunities to develop their full potential, held their annual legislative reception and briefing. We covered quite a few items that overlap with the Maryland Municipal League's Legislative Committee, including wage history, and wage range. It's deciding if we should be asking about wage history with employees, with potential employees. Studies have found that it's affecting women and communities, underserved communities, and so we want to make sure that we are tracking that legislation. My church hosted, Health and Wellness Committee hosted their annual Love Your Heart Luncheon in recognition of Heart Health Month. We were joined by the county's African American Health Program. They gave a few screenings for the blood pressure and sugar levels. And our keynote was delivered by Gaithersburg native, Dr. Kisha Davis of the Casey Health Community Center that used to be right around the corner. I also went to Annapolis quite a few days, almost every day. There's a lot happening in Annapolis, and I joined my Metropolitan Washington Council of Government Chesapeake Bay Policy Committee colleagues and the Chesapeake Climate Action Network to advocate for 3 bills, the Clean Energy Jobs Act, an incineration bill, and the Pipeline Safety and Water Act. Montgomery and Prince George's, Ryan mentioned that we held our annual luncheon today, and we talked with our legislators in Annapolis about our league and city priorities to include 5G small cell authority, funding for our police station, and opposition to widening I-270. I just want to echo a few thank yous. Thank you first to SOAR Optimist International of Upper Montgomery County, Maryland, for inviting me to their February meeting to discuss the changing demographics in the city and county and how that will affect their work to our youngest residents. They do a lot of work to empower and ensure that our young ladies are dreaming bigger and following through with their dreams through their Dream It, Be It program. The Community Museum, which is, I don't always get a chance to go there, and it was my first time going on the train. They hosted a Black History Month program with historian Lieutenant Colonel Roger Cunningham, who discussed the World War I experience for African American soldiers. It was a very nice turnout from a lot of our residents, even some from Asbury came over to hear the discussion. So thank you to the museum for hosting these programs. I serve as the liaison to the Senior Advisory Committee, and we lost one of our members recently. So my condolences to former committee member Kevin McCarthy. He will be missed. Thank you again to our youngest resident, Kavanaugh Bell, for advocating for those who no longer have a voice or don't feel they have a voice. It's young people like him who we need to hear from, and the message that resonated the most was ensuring that we spread love and positivity more often in everything that we do. If we lead with those attributes, we'll be better off. Congratulations again to each of the officers and corporals that were recognized this evening for their dedicated service, and thank you to Chief Shroka for modeling his professional leadership necessary for those that uphold the promise of protecting and serving our community. Thank you again to our county executive, Ike Leggett, for making his way up county. I'm sorry it took your retirement for you to come and visit us, but all the same, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
He's been here before.
I mean, since I've been on the council. So. And thank you again to Dr. Gales, as this is the last meeting we're having for February's Heart Health Month. Thank you to Dr. Gales for presenting the data regarding Gaithersburg's performance on specific health outcomes and conditions based on our zip codes. This is just the beginning of an ongoing dialogue related to need and what a data-driven approach to health improvement will look like. So,
thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me begin with an announcement. The mayor and city council are seeking to fill a vacancy on the Ethics Commission for one full member. The Ethics Commission works in conjunction with the city's Department of Legal Services. The commission oversees the annual review of financial disclosure and conflict of interest forms completed by city officials, employees, and members of boards and commissions, as well as requests for advisory opinions and complaints of violations of the ethics laws. The commission consists of 3 members and 1 alternate member who serve staggered 3-year terms and meet as needed. This position will remain open until filled. Resumes and letters of interest should be submitted via mail to Mayor and City Council, 31 South Summit Avenue, Gaithersburg, Maryland, 20877, or email to cityhall@gaithersburgmd.gov. For more information about the Ethics Committee, Commission, you can visit the city's website, or you can contact City Attorney Lynn Board at 301-258-6310. So I wanted to begin again by thanking Ike, our retired county executive, Ike Leggett. I think those who've lived in Gaithersburg for any period of time during Ike's term know the service and friendship that you provided to the city. That I think that even preceded your time as county executive, but it was a solid 12 years. As Mark Elrich has said, since he's succeeded you, he misses you. We all miss you, and we all should miss you, and we're all grateful for your service to the county and to the city. And so, but we hope that you'll make regular visits to us. We have a lot of things going on, and hopefully you and Catherine will come up here for some of our events and festivities. So, my
couple
best.
Of universities around the corner,
yes,
too.
And I want to congratulate you, given recent kind of fiasco activities of the Board of Regents. It's nice to see a new appointment here that I think will serve the students and the people of the state of Maryland and the University of Maryland very well. As the parent of a Maryland alumnus, I'm very concerned about that, and but I see great opportunity there, and I hope that I'm very glad that you'll be there to represent our views. So,
one quick other note about Ike. We saw Sydney today. He joined us in Annapolis for the Maryland Municipal League lunch, and said to me that he had intended to be here, or he would have definitely been here to see you honored and recognized by the city, had he not made a promise to Sally about a dinner somewhere that he felt like he would get in big trouble if he tried to get out of that. So, but he sends his regards, as you know.
And you know Sally, that's pretty serious issue. So,
Smart.
So anyway, thank you, Ike, for everything. Again, congratulations to our officers, to Sergeant Rice and Corporal Day, to Officer Kuhn, Sergeant Delgado, and the Street Crimes Unit. Great service and commitment to keeping our city safe and our residents safe. Kavanaugh Bell, what can you say? Thank you. Expect, he read that without any notes.
No notes.
I mean, I don't know when he's going to be eligible to run for mayor, but you better look out. So,
luckily, 12 years from now, I mean, I got some time. He's 6.
So one of the issues that has already been mentioned today that's happening in Annapolis is a bill that's been introduced House Bill 654. And I want to talk briefly about that. It's kind of, for some people, it's boring, but it's an issue that we've talked about for several years in the city. And it's about the city's ability to regulate the deployment of small cell facilities in the city. We actually have an ordinance and regulations to do this. What it's local government regulatory control is that stands between you and a small cell tower next to your house or in your backyard or next to your driveway. So I think it's pretty important for you to understand what's going on with House Bill 654. It's fully supported by and drafted with the cooperation of the telecommunications industry, which is probably all you need to know. It strips local governments of the authority to regulate the placement of technology known as small cell, and it also sometimes called distributed antenna systems. The industry says the restrictions on local zoning authority and right-of-way use changes are necessary to bring you 5G technology, and that local governments are standing in the way. Well, first thing to know is that 5G technology isn't actually ready to be deployed. We're still in the 4G stage. So anyway, that's just one issue. So these are demonstrably false statements. We have, because of our regulations, ordinance, those companies are able to come into the city, propose plans for the distribution, and hopefully not impose ugly facilities in the city. So it's those zoning regulations that we have in place as a city that keeps towers in the places where they belong, and the fees from private commercial use of rights of way by telecom companies keep your property taxes lower. So I think it's very important that you understand what's going on. There'll be a hearing on this bill. It's been assigned to the Economic Matters Committee, and the chair of that committee, Delegate Derek Davis, is the sponsor of this bill. So you can find a link to the list of the committee members or the committee and the list of its members on the city's website. We welcome you to write a letter if you feel strongly about this, whether you feel that you want 5G in your front yard or backyard or on your street, or whether you think the city's in a good position to regulate that for you. Remember that the city government is the form of government that's closest to you, and we're going to be most responsive for issues like this. So we'd welcome you to either write a letter or come testify at the committee hearing on Thursday, February 22nd at 1 p.m. in the House Office Building, room 230 in Annapolis. There'll be a coalition of local governments, including both county and municipal governments, that are supporting another pair of bills, Senate Bill 713 and House Bill 1020, that will preserve local regulatory authority over this particular issue. I think the last thing you want to happen in your city is for the state government to decide they can regulate better what happens in your community. So we hope that you'll support both Senate Bill 713 and House Bill 1020. Let your delegates, your elected officials in Annapolis know about that. Again, that information is on our website. I will actually be there testifying on behalf of the city, along with County Executive Mark Elrich and others. We hope to have your support on this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. I'm not going to repeat everything's been said already. Notice to the general public is hereby given. We will not have a work session next week because we have the extra long visioning exercise that's going to be happening on Saturday from 8:30 to 5, as Councilmember Harris described. So the next regular session of the Mayor and Council will be held on Monday, March 4th, 2019, 7:30 p.m. And we'll move on to from the city manager.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a couple things. Our recycling contractor has started the tagging of unacceptable recycling loads as of this week, and actually providing us a daily report.
Thank you, Ike.
So far, the most common, not surprisingly, is people just simply filling their trash in the recycling bin. So now they're getting a tag with a note that says why the load didn't get picked up, and hopefully, as it works its way through the city. We're also preparing door hangers to go on, I think, every door that gets recycling, with some educational tips about how to recycle.
That's
So
great.
that seems to
That's
be
a big task, but I think it'll be worth it.
It is. And the, I'm pretty sure that the recycling contractor themselves are going to be placing them on the doors.
Right.
So, and it has been mentioned, we are looking at a particularly badly timed snow event tomorrow. We may wake up and there might not be anything on the ground, but throughout the day, Governor Hogan has already asked that people avoid the morning rush. Rockville's already closed. MCPS is closed, as was mentioned as well. We will stick to our usual 5 a.m. announcement. OPM is deciding what to do with the federal government right now. I think they're on the 8 p.m. conference call, and then there's a 3 a.m. conference call as well. But we'll make our announcements at the regular time.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you, Tony. Let's move on to economic development. Tom Lonergan.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Sales, thank you for mentioning the Opportunity Zone tour. I was not actually planning to address it, but thank you for bringing it up, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having
Very quickly, Councilmember Harris mentioned our tour of 704 Quince Orchard, or our meeting there. Immediately next door is 708 Quince Orchard, a building which is really more just of your traditional 1980s era office building, yet there's a biotech company. Every time I think we've gotten to know all the biotechs in the city, another one pops up, and this one is making headlines, and I just wanted to call them out very quickly. Antidote Therapeutics at 708 Quince Orchard has entered into a very well-publicized collaboration with the National Cancer Institute to develop a nicotine-binding antibody that binds and clocks nicotine. This is part of NCI's big Division of Cancer Prevention preclinical drug development program. The aim is obviously to help smokers at risk of developing lung cancer to stop or reduce smoking. The goal ultimately is to file an investigational new drug application with FDA. We wish them a lot of luck. We're getting to know them a little bit better. Secondly and finally, we have mentioned that my division, Economic Development, is trying to put together more events and partnerships with some local not-for-profits. The first of those events is coming up in a couple of weeks. On Wednesday, the 13th of March, the city, together with the Maryland Women's Business Center, will be co-sponsoring a networking event at Launch Workplaces at Rio. Dubbed Managing a Women-Owned Business, the event will include a panel of Maryland-based female entrepreneurs. The theme of the panel is resilient leadership, and panelists will have an opportunity to discuss the joys and challenges of owning their own business. A link to the event agenda and registration page can currently be found on the Maryland Women's Business Center page. It will soon be on our own. The public is invited to attend, and we hope you'll join us as well. And we hope this is just the first of what will be many more collaborations with them. I think I'm sticking around after this, Mr. Mayor. I think I got that.
Are you doing the
resolution?
The resolution? Okay, please.
I am.
Well, so we're moving on to ordinances, resolutions, and regulations, and this is about a resolution for approving eligible project costs for the mixed-use development at 315 East Diamond.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. As you know, the city and Ellisdale Construction have been working to redevelop the vacant parcel at 315 East Diamond Avenue, known commonly as the Fishman site, for quite some time, into a mixed-use project including market-rate apartments and ground-floor retail space. In support of that effort, last year the city applied for and was awarded $200,000 in community legacy grant funds from the state's Department of Housing and Community Affairs. As outlined in the grant application submitted by the city, this award can be used to offset eligible pre-development costs incurred by the developer for this project. Those kind of costs are things like civil engineering, site permitting, survey services, and design meetings. Pre-development work has begun. Based on invoices submitted to the state on behalf of Ellisdale, the city has received partial reimbursement for the grant. But to emphasize, this money is not to reimburse us, it's for us to reimburse the developer for the cost they're putting into pre-development work. Pending approval by the City Council, we intend to proceed with payment to the contractor, Ellisdale. Therefore, we are respectfully seeking support for this resolution, approving payment to Ellisdale Construction for eligible pre-development costs in an amount not to exceed $200,000 following reimbursement from the state of Maryland.
Okay, any questions, comments? Or would someone want to move the resolution?
Do you have an estimate on when the project will begin? I know we've been doing pre-development for quite a while. So you have an idea of when the final site plans will be approved and they'll be pulling the permit to start the work?
We followed up with Ellisdale last week. Their HUD, they have been working with HUD on their financing. They had an award letter through HUD which actually expired. It took some time to get the development agreement approved. They are going through an expedited re-approval process, presumably with HUD as we speak. They will then begin to work on the matters that were brought up by the Planning Commission as conditions for their approval. There were probably 8 or 10 that were attached to this project. I would assume you won't see anything until spring or summertime.
Okay. So groundbreaking spring or something.
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't. I wanted to find out what you meant by
I think it's probably too soon for us to predict when the groundbreaking will be, except that we now have bi-weekly phone calls scheduled with Ellisdale management to hopefully have a stronger answer on that in the coming weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. With that, I don't know, did you have another question?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Was the grant was solely for this project, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and how much, do we have a total amount of the invoices submitted by Ellisdale?
So far, I believe it totals $53,000.
Okay, all right. Are we expecting them to exhaust the full amount before they
Yes.
break ground?
I'm quite sure.
No, I'm sure you will.
All right, I'm done.
With that, can I move the resolution?
Sure.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, carries 4-0.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom.
Mhm.
Anything from the city attorney?
Nothing this evening.
Anything from any other staff? Okay, this has been a short but sweet agenda. Again, no work session next week due to the visioning exercise we're having on Saturday. And next regular session of the Mayor and Council will be on Monday, March 4th. Until next time, and as always, please, everyone, take care tomorrow in the storm. Until next time, let's do great things, Gaithersburg. We are adjourned.